Hi, you guys. So I just wanted to come and to touch on a follow up because I made a video and I was making my video after watching King Payne. He has a YouTube channel here on YouTube, and for the most part, he talks about other YouTubers. I don't really know what we should call this sector because at first, when I first came to YouTube, that's kind of when I thought I was creating, but I see that I see that everybody else is kind of into that as well. But anyway, so because I don't really know his relationship. I think that he has a good relationship with Tasha because he will defend her, and I noticed that about him. So I don't think that he has a bad relationship with Tasha K or Storm for that matter. But he spends a lot of time talking about stuff that they have going on his channel. And so this is how I started. I found out about the Light Skin podcast. Um, and so I was watching Wiley, and Wiley as well was talking about um, this new guy, Von Ray, because I didn't know he was now working with Tasha. I don't follow them all day long, every day. I don't know what these people are doing until I know, right? Um, but so they created this podcast. And so Wiley and his audience, they were live and they were talking and giving their opinions on some of the I guess the conversations from Storm and Bond, and people were speculating if that was Storm's boyfriend and what have you, right? I think I kind of said that, and so they were going in on this conversation, because we all understand there are people who want Storm, and not just women, but there are also LGBTQIA people who want Storm to live openly, if that is, in fact, who he is, right? And they all say it here on YouTube. So they also want to know. It's not just women who want to know this, but clearly he has a large female base, and they also want to know, right? So that was the conversation. So Storm was in the comments. He never went live with Wiley, but he was in the comments. And he said, "Oh, I just want to see what you guys are saying. I would want to get feedback on how you guys felt about the podcast, I guess." And so they were giving him that. Trust me. And so then, I don't know. I think I said that in my other video that I went to their light skin podcast and I only saw Vaughn talking to this woman. Um, and so You know what? I think I left this 1 minute. I gotta turn this. Y'all was gonna hear this tea kettle blowing in a minute. Anyway, so I went and I only saw Vaughn there. I didn't see Storm, and so Storm went live. I guess yesterday, or yeah, maybe it was yesterday. And Storm pretty much said that he's no longer a part of the Light Skin podcast. Now, there are several YouTubers, like I said, men and people from the LGBTQIA community, having conversations about Storm and Vaughn and Chelsea. Now, I know that Chelsea, I think she's the one who was working with Jason Lee, and now she works with Tasha. And so I'm going to get to Tasha K because Tasha K tells the story. Now, how true the story how true the story is, I don't know. But she is breaking everything down in her live. But Storm went live. Let me just say what Storm said, summarize it, because he said what he had to say. He pretty much said he's no longer going to be a part of the Light Skin a podcast, and that he just wants to protect his peace. He don't want to get in the middle. No, he said, she said, and love triangles, and you, me, and he, like it to me say. They don't want to be. He didn't want. He's not interested in being a part of that, and so he kind of says that, and he also makes this statement that he don't want to have to come out windmilling on nobody, right? But he will if he have to. Like if people don't leave him alone. In other words, and maybe he's talking to Chelsea, maybe he's talking to Vaughn, maybe he's talking to both of them. I don't know. exactly who he was directing that to, but he said as long as he don't have to come out windmilling, he won't. He just would prefer to leave it alone and just stick to working on his channel. So he's not going to do the Like Skin podcast anymore. Um, and so Miss Tasha K went live, I guess, in the middle of the night, child. I'm asleep. I don't know when exactly. But she went live on her back channel, not on her main channel, on the Wino channel. Um, she pretty much said, she started telling the whole story. The video is about 45 minutes long on her backup channel. And so she, just to summarize, because I'm not getting ready to try to repeat everything these people say, but she said pretty much that Vaughn came in out of nowhere, and she met him when she interviewed Latoya Red. I don't know if you guys remember that. Latoya, when she was on Real Housewives of Atlanta, I guess she was having issues with her either husband, fiance, boyfriend. I don't know what the man was because I did not watch that season. And so they were both on Tasha K's podcast, and I recall seeing that. Um, I didn't watch the videos, but I recall the advertisement. Let me just put it that way, because obviously I didn't. I'm not interested in Latoya because I didn't watch that season, so I don't really know who she is. I know people are saying that she was a YouTuber as well at one time, and so I guess after she broke up with that guy, she started dating Vaughn. And so that's where Vaughn came into play. I guess Tasha K built some kind of rapport with Latoya. Maybe she met him wherever with Latoya. And so Vaughn got into it with Latoya's husband somewhere along the way. And he claims there was a shootout or something that went on in a bar, I guess, there in Atlanta. I don't know. I was not there. He went to jail, right, because of that. And he also has a video up on his channel where he's talking about his experience going to jail and losing, his stuff, and of course not being able to see his children. That video is up. It's on his channel, and so I'm assuming, yeah, that really happened. But Tasha said he went to jail. I guess he lost everything, and so she wanted to help him. Now, this is where the story gets confusing for me, guys. Now, you guys can go and listen to her verbatim, but the story got confusing because it sounded like she said that Vaughn, she tried to help Vaughn by, and obviously Tasha K is a married woman, she has a family. You can't just bring everybody up in your house and in your space, right? I don't even know why she's bringing these people in her house, period. That's just my opinion, but I digress. Um, so she asked, I guess, either Chelsea or Storm, because her story gets confusing because at first she said that he was staying with Chelsea. And then when rent time came around, he started picking arguments with her, right? Um, and so I'm just summarizing. She kind of goes obviously more in detail because you guys know how she is. But she said that he started making, creating arguments with her. I guess when rent time came around, and so Chelsea decided to get him his own apartment. My whole thing is, and I'm not a part of the divestment uh, crew, and I'm not a part of these other crews of women that are on here. But I do think that black women need to stop. Y'all need to stop taking care of these men, okay? Stop trying to help them. They out here talking about people and what people bringing to the table. So let them build the table. Let them build the table, and then really be able to stand up in the stuff they're out here saying, okay? Stop helping men. Stop helping them because you see how it goes. So anyway, she decided to help this guy get an apartment in her name. I don't know if she put it in her name. I'm assuming it's in her name because he didn't have the credit to get the place, is what Tasha was pretty much saying. And he was driving one of her cars, and then I guess she introduced him to Storm. This is where Storm came into the conversation. She introduced him to Storm. He and Storm started becoming, I guess, building a friendship. They decided, we should do this Light Skin podcast. Tasha K said she thought it was a good idea at the time, right? Because I guess they wanted to help Vaughn. And at the end of the day, what Tasha was not saying, let me just say this, she wanted to put Vaughn under contract. She wanted to put Vaughn on her team. So let's not get that twisted. She didn't say it, I'm saying it, so that's allegedly, but I believe, based on what she is saying in that video, she wanted to put him on the team. And so she put him on her team, and he Anyway, and if you guys wanted to join this live stream, the link is in the comments if you want to join the live stream, and I can connect you in if you guys wanted to say whatever. But I'm just trying to break down what she's saying. I just wanted to make sure that link was in the comments, and it is. Because I know in the last video someone was saying it, but I didn't see the comment anyway. But the link is in the comments. Um, so she started saying that she told him it was a good idea to go ahead on and to create the podcast. Now, this is where her story got confusing to me because I guess he was trying to create issues with Chelsea now because now he had this friendship with Storm. And so she was making it sound like, okay, he jumped from Chelsea into Storm's apartment, right? So now he's living with Storm. And so then she kind of came back and said he was living with Storm first. He went from Storm to Chelsea because he started dating Chelsea. I almost swore she said something like that, right? But then she said that he was coming to her saying stuff that Storm was saying about her. Like Storm said that Tasha is toxic. That's why he's really not spending time with her. He don't really like to spend a lot of time with her. Um, and so she said that he was telling Chelsea stuff that Storm was saying. And so this is just my opinion. I think that what he was trying to do was kind of put wedges between these people, even though there's probably already a wedge between Storm and Tasha a little bit anyway over the Jaguar situation. But I digress. Um, He's trying to build a wedge between them so they wouldn't go back and talk to each other. So Chelsea would go and talk to Storm about him. And so Storm would not go and talk to Chelsea about him. See, that's what I think. And so just based on what Tasha was saying. And so then she said that, and that became confusing about how he got into living with Storm. But I guess because they were having arguments or whatever, he decided to go over and start living with Storm since he was building this friendship with him and they were going to have this blog together. And so, and so then she said they started doing the blog, right? And obviously, if you guys are not familiar with the blog, they have certain conversations. And I think I made the video around the video that I was watching because of King Payne. King Payne said something about they were in a bathhouse. I guess Storm was telling a story about hooking up with somebody in a club or something. And King Payne said it was a bathhouse. Anyway, long story short, that's why I went over to look at the video because they were in a conversation with a transgender woman named Queen Tulsa, like I was saying in that other video. But to me, Vaughn kind of came off slightly uncomfortable around the conversations. And maybe he was uncomfortable because he wanted to make sure he didn't allow himself to get caught up in it. And maybe that's what I was really seeing. Because according to some of the other YouTubers and to Tasha, he was a personal trainer for Jeffree Star, right? And we all know Jeffree Star is like a makeup beauty YouTuber, guru, whatever you want to call him, because I believe he has his own makeup line as well. So he was a personal trainer for Jeffree Star, and he was also involved with hooking up that basketball player who had a girlfriend and a pregnant girlfriend at the time of him getting involved with Jeffree Star. I don't know if you guys remember that. It was all over the blogs, and I'm sure people on here on YouTube made videos about it as well. Basketball player and a trainer for Jeffree Star. My whole thing, if he was getting out of jail and he has a relationship with Star to assist you with finding a place, and then you and have him put you on some type of payment plan and you start giving him the money back, why are you moving in with Chelsea, right? I don't know, but maybe there was some attraction there for Chelsea, but it kind of, the way Tasha's telling the story, it kind of sounded like he was just using her. And then when he met Storm, he jumped over into Storm. But that was what was going through my mind. Like, why didn't he ask Jeffree for assistance, right, of getting back on his feet, and you know somebody who is on that level. But I digress. She started saying that, she went to Storm and she told Storm what he was saying to her and what he was saying to Chelsea about what Storm was saying. Like the conversations that they have, those conversations should be confidential, especially if she tells Storm, because I think she said that Storm went back and told him something, Vaughn. He went back and told Vaughn something that Tasha had said, and Tasha know that Storm told him because the conversation was just between her and Storm. So she said she kind of got with Storm about that, right? And so then she told Storm that it's probably not a good idea that he's having all this talk around sex on his channels, because people can use these things against him. And so that's when you see Wiley and all the other YouTubers having all these conversations. That's why Storm kind of went live and decided to say, "Look, I'm going to pull out from that podcast." Tasha also said she told Storm to let him go, let him leave, make him leave your apartment as well. Now this is my thing. Storm is a grown man. I know Storm is only 20 something. She probably feels like big sis to him, and she also has him under some type of contract, right? So she also feels like his boss. But his personal business is his personal business. Um, but I do understand what she's saying. I just feel like if he has a friendship with this guy and he wants to help this guy out, that's kind of up to him. Um, and that's just my opinion. But you guys can let me know what you think in the comments. But she also said, while she was saying that she said that she's now setting ground rules for her staff not to get involved with each other. Like, nobody can get involved, and don't do it because it causes problems, and then things like this come up, right? Well, she will have to let Vaughn go. Maybe she thought that she could assist Vaughn with growing his channel and what have you, and then she obviously was going to get a percentage of that. See, Tasha K is not doing this for that. She's doing this because there's something in that for her. She's not trying to blow everybody's channels up for no reason. She's definitely going to get something out of that. And so now she's losing Bond as a potential, right? And then, the Storm thing is already tension there between her and Storm. Um, when I first discovered Storm and Tasha together, they were talking about doing this whole wine cellar podcast where in the wine cellar they were going to interview people, right? And once they started doing that, most of the people that she had on there obviously was other YouTubers because that's how you're going to build up your ability to start interviewing people. And so all of them were LGBT, right? She had T.S. Madison, Funky Dineva, and I think the other one was the King of Reeds. And so all three of them went on there and started asking Storm if he was gay, right? And maybe they already thought that, maybe they were already familiar with Storm from YouTube. And so people started talking about that and creating videos around that. And they started talking about that in Storm's comments as well. Because some women don't, some young women or some women in general, because he has both older and young women following his channel, they may not just want to believe that. They feel like, some people just feel like if people are not telling you that's who they are, then that's not who they are. And he has a right to say, he should be given that right to speak up and when he feels ready to say that, if that's who he is. Um, but they did. They all kind of hinted like, "Are you one of us, or are you a part of the family?" They all three of them said that in some type of form or fashion, and so it kind of looked messy on Tasha's part because her and her team were the one booking these people, and so Storm kind of, I think he wanted, you didn't see him in the wine cellar too many more times after that. And I think the only other time I saw him in the wine cellar or with Tasha is when his channel started growing. When he kind of finally hit that 100,000 mark, he was at Tasha's house but they were not in the wine cellar. They were just live together. But I have seen Tasha pop up on Storm's channel. But I mean, as far as because they're both there in Atlanta, they could be in the same place if that's what they really wanted to do. So I didn't see them together anymore after that. And I think that that was kind of the issue, because if he's not ready to come out and say that that's who, he doesn't need the whole LGBT, the whole rainbow coalition coming through there, putting him on the spot like that. So I can understand that. And so he's just started focusing on his channel, and that's when all that Jaguar stuff happened, and I think that just further caused issue between them as well, because Tasha then kind of took over the whole Jaguar scene, and everybody kind of said that that's what she was going to do, and that is what she kind of took it over and did the whole surviving Jaguar situation. And so that kind of took that off of Storm and put it on her. But he still was able to capitalize on the whole Jaguar interview. He chopped up all those videos, and then I think one of those, the main video, it got over 1 million hits. And so he was able to do well for himself out of it. So regardless, and because he's under some type of contract with Tasha, they have to keep some type of relationship. And I think that he's not going to rock the boat with her too much, but she has no business telling him who could come in and out of his house now. Like, that's a lot. But she was saying, no, he has to put Vaughn out and all this stuff. So she's gonna come back again. I think she said during, if she is able to do her other podcast tonight, and probably speak on it again. Now, Vaughn, of course, has posted a message, and I wish I can show you guys in this video, but I don't know how. I can't do it, child. Anyway, he said that all the stuff that everybody's saying is made up. That it's not true. That it is all made up, and that the truth will come to the light at some point. Now, I don't know if he's going to take advantage of this situation on his own podcast, and kind of, now that he's alone, and kind of start hitting back at them. He may or may not do that. It also depends on what that contract says between him and Tasha K, because it's possible that he can't even talk about Tasha, right? And if she's smart, that she would tell them to, you guys can't discuss me. But some celebrities, they do that with their staff. They will tell them that they cannot discuss them, and they will say, they'll give them a certain amount of time where they can't do it. Um, so I don't know what he can talk about, what he can't talk about. But, he is in a position now where he can capitalize off this situation if he wanted to. I mean, everybody else is talking about it. So, and he says he is a part of it, and he has a right to his story, because this is just basically the way Tasha's telling the story, that he kind of came in and tried to use everyone pretty much, and use Chelsea and in a romantic way, right? He wasn't trying to use her as a friend or just as someone, look, help me out and I'll pay you back. He was trying to use her by trying to get with her. And Wiley talked about this with some other YouTubers. I guess she had put a message up, and then she deleted the message where she's saying, guys, they will create these arguments and stuff with you, because what they really, really want down and deep down is another man. So she posted that, and then she took it down. And so she didn't say names, but we're all assuming that it's Vaughn that she's talking about. So she kind of confirmed that she did have something going on with him as well. Now, my whole thing, if you guys knew he was a personal trainer with Jeffree Star, then you should have been aware that he was either bisexual or gay. Like, that's, not that he can't be a trainer for Jeffree Star, but then he has a relationship with all these other guys as well. That's kind of a sign. And if you're not comfortable with that type of setup, then you probably shouldn't let yourself get involved with someone like that. Because if he is bisexual, then more than likely he is going to have attractions to men as well. And if there was some type of attraction to Storm, I don't know. This is all allegedly. This is all based on what everybody else is saying. Um, then, yeah, there's probably something that's going to go on there as well. And I don't know if it was or not. I didn't really. King Payne said that they were together. I don't know if I didn't know that they were in the same apartment. I thought that they were in different places, but it sounds like Vaughn and Storm, they were living together while they were doing this Light Skin podcast at some point. Um, Chelsea put him out. And I don't recall him saying anything about a woman. And maybe he said it. I don't remember. But he said something about a woman. You know, he was pretty. Tasha said he was pretty much saying that whatever happened between him and Chelsea, he said it during that interview with Queen Tulsa. And he was kind of like saying that she, you know, that he slept with her and was driving her car and all this stuff. I don't recall that. I can go back and look at the video again, but I don't recall him saying that. And if he, because he didn't say a name, I didn't think nothing of it, right? He was just talking about an experience that he had. But yeah, she said that he kind of was talking about Chelsea in the video, and so she thought that, no, you can't do that. So she told Storm, oh yeah, well, she told Storm to take the video down. So I don't know. I don't know if he still has the video up or not, because that is his channel now. I don't know if Tasha can make Vaughn take the video down, but yeah, she said he was talking about Chelsea in that video when he makes that statement. So I don't know. It sounds messy, and she's right. People, if we're all working together, we should not look at each other in that way, right? It's one thing if you're bringing a couple in and they're already a couple coming in to whatever to your fold, but I think that people are, keep your attractions outside of what we have going on business wise, because it just causes problems. But let me know what you guys think about all of this. If you're following all the other YouTubers talking about it, because I know King Peg is talking about it. I know the Wiley Show is talking about it, and a couple other people as well are probably touching on the conversation. How do you feel about Tasha telling Storm that he can't talk about, his sexcapades anymore in his videos? And he normally will do that on his back channel. I know you guys know he grinds on the furniture and all that stuff, from time to time on his main channel. But when he's really talking about his capades, he's really doing that on his back channel. But she's saying that it's not a good idea for him to do that, so she's telling him to stop talking about stuff like that. And she's right. People are twisting King Pay. They're twisting up the stuff that he's saying anyway. Like every time he goes on vacation, people start making videos about who he's on vacation with, right? So she's right. Like some of his personal stuff is probably not, it's not anyone's business, but it's kind of up to him. He's a grown man. He's 20 something years old to decide how he wants to run his channels. That's what I think. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you think about this whole story of Chelsea dating Vaughn and Vaughn possibly dating Storm or whatever was going on. Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next video.